I remember someone asking me a few weeks ago, well, wait a minute, you can't give that away for free. Well, sir, how can you do that? Well, because I am. Well, how? Because I am. And the real reason is because I don't do this for income. I have other income from other sources. So I get to follow my passion and help people out of debt and show you guys, hopefully you'll agree, show you something special that could really help you guys out and get you a long way. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started. So the cost for Debt Eliminator Plus is zero. And once you're in, it's still zero. And when you get coached by me, it's still zero. Or if you want to watch all the videos and do the online system, it's still zero. You will never, ever find anything that charges you anything in relation to this program. Why? Because I'm crazy. All right, next is Debt Eliminator Plus may be able to help you eliminate all of your debt, including your mortgage, in a third of your time. Even if you don't have a mortgage, eliminate your credit card debt. Or maybe this. You may not have a mortgage, but you're paying someone $1,000 a month for rent. Well, what if you were living rent-free forever because you owned your home free and clear? Yeah, think about that one for a moment. Debt Eliminator Plus may not only be able to help you eliminate your debt, but it will do so, oh my goodness. It will, someone's phone just showed up on my thing here. It will do so, I forgot to unplug my Magic Jack. Give me just a second. It will do so and improve your credit score. As opposed to what? As opposed to destroying your credit score, some debt programs, okay? All right, so anyone who wants to become debt-free, it's available to you as an individual, maybe your entire family, your business debt. If you have business debt, it all applies. Or how about your congregation? I had the opportunity to coach a whole church out of debt recently. If you've got one and you want me to come and help you guys, imagine what you guys could do to contribute to others if your congregation, everybody there had no mortgage, no credit cards, and all that stuff. It would be great. Works for most types of debt, all types of mortgage. Doesn't matter if it's an interest-only mortgage or rental property mortgage. Really doesn't matter. Credit card debt, auto loans, personal loans, student loans, a lot of those out there nowadays, and medical bills and business debt and tax liens. Okay. Program components are as follows. Common sense strategies, a simple financial assessment of your unique situation. All of you are completely different. And debt acceleration. This is a methodology that really came from mortgage acceleration, where without changing your lifestyle, which came out of Australia, by the way, just around 2000, without changing your lifestyle, you can pay off your mortgage in 2 to 10 years by accelerating it. Well, I've taken that same methodology and applied it to any other debt, along with some other techniques which will help you become debt-free in a period of time that you've never considered possible. Number 4, banking, financial resources, and tools for most credit and income situations. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. There's always something positive to do that you can take the system and apply it to put yourself in a better financial position, regardless of what your income is and your scores are. All right, so this is going to be an interesting webinar for those of you who've been on it for the first time. And I'm clear that each and every one of you learn in different ways. Some of you are very visual, meaning not necessarily looking at numbers, but just visual in general. Or you're good listeners, the verbal part you're going to get. Or some of you are really just numbers people. And I'm here to, I've done this a lot. So I've created a way of teaching that I believe is most effective, okay? So I'm going to start off with an overview flow chart, and then I'm going to go into into someone who just has a mortgage, like kind of like a case study, where I'm going to do a step-by-step text, and obviously you're going to hear my voice, verbal and visual process of how you pay off a mortgage early without changing your lifestyle. And then I'm going to do one with someone who has a bunch of credit card debt, and then I'm going to get into some numbers in the software I built that you guys can all have for free. It's fine, where you can actually see the numbers for the real numbers grinders, analytical people. So if we go through a portion of this now, and you're like, well, I don't get that, it's okay. You're not going to get it the first second I expose you to it. As we go through different ways to look at it, your light bulb will probably go on. In most cases, it does. All right. So let's start off with debt acceleration, what that looks like in relationship to how you pay your bills and how money really moves around in this methodology. First of all, you guys all get paid with your paycheck, and you put your paychecks into your checking account. That's where you put all your money into. Why? Because it's a good tool. It allows you to pay your bills by check, or you can use your debit card when you're going through Walmart to pull out your card, or you can pull out cash and buy stuff. But you're paying all your bills, right? You're paying all your bills out of your checking account. Money in, money out. Money in, money out. Okay? That's how that works. In this system or methodology, and I'm going to go back, I'm going to erase all that stuff, you are not going to pay necessarily your bills out of your checking account. What we're going to do is open up a line of credit. And we're going to open up a personal, typically unsecured line of credit. It doesn't say home equity line of credit, so it doesn't matter if you have home equity. And what I don't want you to do is listen to that voice in your head that's going off right now. I can't get a line of credit. Where do I get a line of credit? Where do you get the line of credit? Well, the system won't work without the line of credit, so the system is built to show you how to get one and where, regardless of your credit situation. I have a whole system built to where you can get one. Okay, so let's just set that aside for a moment, a little voice in your head that's all worried about this, because that's the number one thing. You will get one, and I will show you how. All right, so you open up a line of credit, and you write a check to pay off debt. Let's say the line of credit's $20,000 limit. We're going to pay off $20,000 worth of debt. You can pay down your mortgage by $20,000 if you only have a mortgage, or you can pay off a car, or you can pay off all your credit cards or whatever, okay? So your money goes into your checking account, you open up a line of credit, and then you start depositing all your income, your paychecks, into the line of credit just like it's a checking account, okay? There's another component that's happening simultaneous is all your living expenses you're going to put on a credit card, meaning food, gas, clothes, insurance, things like that. Not like your mortgage payment. You can't pay your mortgage payment with a credit card, but things that you would normally pull out your debit card for that comes out of your checking account, you're going to pull out a credit card. I'm going to show you how to create a flow. It's going to be pretty interesting, and you'll see it in the case study how it dramatically affects your financial situation. But when the bill comes in for the credit card, you're going to pay it off every month with the line of credit. You're going to pay all your cash expenditures out of the line of credit. You're going to pull money out that you need weekly for your bills or for your, whatever you can't pay for with your debit card. You're going to have a debit card for the line of credit, just like your checking accounts, where it comes right out of it. And then you're also going to write checks for your mortgage and your other payments right out of your line of credit. Okay? Makes sense. No, actually, for most of you, it doesn't. And I get that. We're going to make it make sense for you. All right, so let's go to a text step-by-step example of what this looks like. And then what we're going to do is a case study with numbers on an actual, situation of someone with so much income and so forth. All right, so someone who has a mortgage only, what does that mean? They don't have any credit card debt, they don't have any auto loans, they just have their mortgage payment and their normal living expenses. What they would do is open a line of credit, okay? And they would make a lump sum payment towards the mortgage equal to the approved amount of line of credit. So in the first month, you're actually going to make 4 payments towards your mortgage. You're probably thinking, where am I going to get the money? I'm going to show you. And I'll show you how it'll accelerate your mortgage. All right, so you make an extra lump sum payment towards your mortgage equal to the approved amount of the line of credit, maxing out the line or a lesser amount determined by your threshold. And I'll show you what that means in a case study. You're going to write a check for some sort to your mortgage if you have a mortgage only and no other debt, okay? And we'll determine what that amount is based on the interest rate of the line of credit, the interest rate of the mortgage, and how much money you have flowing through your life. Then you begin to use the line of credit just like your regular checking account, i.e. paying all your bills from the line of credit, your mortgage payment, your other debt payments, any expenses you cannot pay with a credit card. You pay all your expenses that you can with a credit card with one designated credit card, preferably a points or rewards card. By the way, if you're trying to jot all this stuff down, stop. You know how in life human beings, it's very rare that one human being listens to another, actually listens. It's very rare that a human being actually listens to what's coming out of another human being's mouth. What they're listening to is their conversation in their head about what's coming out of that person's mouth. Oh, I know that. I don't know that. Oh, I want to write that down. If you're doing that, you're not going to absorb it. I have this all on video. I'm going to give it all to you. You're going to be able to watch it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, okay? So don't just sit there, watch the screen, quiet your mind, and listen. All right, so we make a lump sum payment, number 5, step 5, towards your mortgage equal to the amount of expenses put on your credit card. So what we have here is we have first payment during the first month. This is another payment. Your regular payment is your third payment. All right, so the first month you're going to make 3 payments towards your mortgage. And I'll show you why you're going to have this extra money to pay towards your mortgage in a little bit. Then you begin to make lump sum payments towards your mortgage equal to your positive cash flow after paying all your bills. So that's mortgage payment number 4 in the first month. And then after the first month, you're making 2 payments towards your mortgage, and I will show you again. Once your mortgage is paid off, you continue to use a line of credit as your primary checking account until it's paid off, and congratulations, you're debt-free. Sounds great, went a million miles an hour, and a bunch of you are going, what the heck does this all mean? Let's look at it. What I have here is a piece of software I built that you guys are all going to get for free today. There's nothing to buy here, by the way. And there's nothing I'm going to be selling ever, anywhere here, ever. I know it sounds too good to be true, but I'm breaking that rule. Usually when it's too good to be, sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Well, I'm just breaking the rule. That's just not what's going to happen here. All right, so now, what we're going to do is look at this, and if you guys get this software, when you first open it, you're going to try to type stuff in here like your income. That's not what you're doing on the first page. Hit these tabs on the bottom. So this person has a job, and let's say they make $5,000 a month. So that's the average, and this is what their debt looks like. Okay? They have no balances on their credit cards here. They have a mortgage with a $191,000 balance. It's worth $150. It's a 30-year fixed, and here's your payment. Okay? The interest rate's 5.63%. So that's how that's what the situation looks like. There's living expenses, property taxes, insurance, electricity, cable TV, all your telephones, your auto insurance, your gas, registration for your cars, your food, your lunches. I separated those out. Your medical insurance, blah, 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 blah. So you have all these listings. It's about $2,000 a month. Now in the software, if you put a Y next to it, that means it could be put on a credit card, meaning when you go buy Christmas gifts, you could pay it for with a credit card. You can put your entertainment on a credit card. You can buy your food on a credit card. So those Y's means yes for credit card, N's means no. Meaning if you pay for medical insurance outside of your employer, not coming out of your check, they may not take a credit card, so you got to write a check. What happens in the software, it'll total what you can pay with a credit card and what you cannot. So $135 a month in this example could not be paid for with a credit card. And I could change that. I could go here and say, okay, no on property taxes. The property tax assessor says no, and what it'll do is it'll increase this bottom number where it cannot pay with a credit card. Now, this will show up why it's important later. So we have a case study that's thorough, is what I want to show you here. We have all their living expenses. Now, this person makes $5,000 a month. They have that debt payment, these living expenses, so total about $3,000 a month. They have decent cash flow because they don't have credit cards and auto loans and all that stuff. Okay, we're going to show you this case study first. The next one's going to be someone who has tons of debt elsewhere. All right, so what we're going to do is open up a line of credit for $20,000. The line of credit, this is what's going to get some of you guys are going to go, I don't get that. Your line of credit is always going to have a higher interest rate typically than your mortgage. But it's a very complex mathematical calculation of how the methodology works, and this is where people get confused, so I'll probably slow down a little bit here and show you why it makes sense. What you're really doing when you're opening up a line of credit, and this is a line of credit calculator that's built into the software. I'm going to put the income, change it. I'm going to start really slow. I'm going to start over and say, okay, we're going to make an extra payment. We're going to open up the line of credit at 7%. It could be 12%, 13%, and I'll show you why. We're going to make an extra payment toward mortgage of $20,000. So that's an expense, right? You have a $20,000 limit on a line of credit. We're going to write a check towards our mortgage for $20,000. To understand the impact of why it's positive, we must understand how our mortgage works. So let's go to our mortgage. This is the original mortgage was $200,000. They owe $191 on it now. They closed on it on October 1st of 2009. The interest rate is 5.625%. It's a 30-year mortgage, and the payment's $11.51 a month. and there's 360 payments, which is 30 years. Okay, so 12 times 30 is 360, 12 months, right? All right, 360 months. And we've got interest. So when you signed on your mortgage, you got a federal truth in lending disclosure statement that said you're going to pay back to 200 grand. You're going to pay 360 payments of 1151, right? So if I go into a calculator here, I pay 1151 a month times 360. That equals 414,000. That's paying back the original 200,000 plus the 214. So you're going to pay $400,000 for a $200,000 house because you're paying $214,000 in interest. That's what happens. That's what's so. That's how your mortgage is. Now, what I want to look at here is look at your mortgage and how the principal and interest is broken down and how interest is calculated. Most of you have a 30-year mortgage. You have a very clear beginning, a very clear ending, a very clear interest rate, and you can look at an amortization table that tells you exactly how much principal and interest comes out of each payment every month, okay, from October 1st of 2009 on. So if you notice on this mortgage at 5.625%, that in the beginning of your mortgage, it's mostly interest in your payment, right? $900 of the $1,100 is interest, right? And I can go months ahead. I can go years ahead. I can go 6 years ahead, and I'm still $800 of the $1,100 is going towards interest, this category here. Oops. All right. If I look forward on a mortgage, it inverts. The first 7 years of a mortgage, okay, 84 months or whatever, is mostly interest. The last 7 years is the opposite. Look, you're paying mostly principal. This is when you're really paying off your mortgage. The middle sucks too, by the way. If you look at 240 months in, right here, go down, you'll notice that, let's actually look at what it really is. Let's see, right here, where is it even? Oh, right in here. All right, what is that, 36.3, about 17 years into your mortgage before you get even. Okay, it's horrible, right? That's why you're paying 200 grand in interest. My first question to each and every one of you is this. If you're paying so much interest out of your payment, look at the percentage. 85% of your payments going towards interest. Does that sound like 5.625% to you? I want a yes or no answer. Does it sound like you're really paying 5.625% if 80-90% of your payments going towards interest? And I'm getting no way. So the question I have for you is why? Why is it a lot? Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be paying 5.625%. Why am I paying? Why? Is that your real interest rate? No, it's not. It's not really 5.65%. Here's why. Because you get charged every day on interest. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say it's, oh, booga booga blue blue blue. I want to scream. All right, let's go to another part of, how about this? All right, so what I'm going to do here real quick. So let's say it's March 1st. March 1st. You owe $300,000 on your mortgage, and you're going to get charged $32 in interest. And March 2nd, you don't have a payment every day. You have interest being charged every day, but you don't have a payment. So on March 2nd, your balance is $300,032. I got an extra zero in there. Okay? So that means then on March 2nd, you're going to be $32.12 in interest. So on March 3rd, you're adding this to this, and you owe even more. So every day during the month, because you don't have a payment every day, you're owing more and more on the mortgage. And the interest begins to exponentially grow, and you owe more and more every day, and then until your payment offsets it, and most of your payment goes towards interest. That's compound interest, okay? And I just messed up here. Hang on. Boy, I'm having a hard time today. All right, so that's compounding daily. And most people don't realize that because you get a statement that says you have $900 in interest. Well, it doesn't show it compounding daily on your statement, okay? Einstein said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. So if you don't understand how your debt works, you have the eighth wonder of the world against you in getting out of debt. And that's why people die with their debt, okay? But we're going to teach you something that's going to show you how to slingshot yourself past this horrible financial mess that most of the world's in. All right, so let's go back. We're going to write a $20,000 check to our mortgage, okay? And I'm going to show you the math on the interest charges with the interest rate versus line of credit and the mortgage and all that, okay? So first thing is we're going to move to today's date. So let's assume all of you closed on a mortgage for $200,000 at 5.625% in October 1st, 2009. We're going to go to March of 2013, which is down here, and we're going to watch and see how this reacts. We're going to be able to see how your principal and interest changes and how this affects your mortgage right now. So we're going to write a check for $20,000, and I'm going to tab out of it. And you're going to see that if we wrote a lump sum payment for $20,000 towards your mortgage, it would actually accelerate at 65 months and take 5.42 years off of your mortgage. Right? It pushes you forward on the amortization chart. Notice that the interest drops from $893 a month out of your payment down to $797, and your principal increases by the same difference of the same amount. You've accelerated your mortgage. You've pushed it forward. You see, your mortgage wasn't expecting that extra payment. It was expecting you to pay the minimum, and when you do what they expect, you're going to pay them up the yin-yang in interest. But what we have to do now is see, well, that's fine and dandy, but what's it costing me in a line of credit? You see, I didn't have this cash. I borrowed it from somewhere else, right? So let's go back and look at it. So notice that your payment, the amount of interest dropped by almost $100. So we're going to go into line of credit calculator, and we're going to assume we wrote that check at a higher interest rate, which calculates interest right here. But there's something different going on here. What we're also doing is merging our cash movement with that debt. We're kind of collapsing them together, because you may owe 20 grand. Let's say it's March 1st. You open up the line of credit at the end of February 28th, and March 1st you wrote the $20,000 check towards your mortgage. And then all of a sudden, bam, same day you got paid. So that day you got paid, your balance dropped on the line of credit by the amount you got paid. Now, I know you need to use the money that you get paid to pay your bills. You are. The available credit is available in the line of credit for to pay your bills out. Notice that when I paid my mortgage payment here out of the line of credit, my balance went up. So what's going to happen is your balance is going to go up and down on the line of credit, and it's going to be impacting it, okay? So we're going to go through exactly how that works. So let's say you get paid $5 grand a month. You deposit $2,500 on the 1st, you deposit $2,500 on the 15th. You go ahead and pay a living expense that you can't pay with a check or credit card. You got to pay cash to someone. You pull cash out for $135. In fact, let's change it. Let's change it to this $210 number, because we had another. Let's say you had to pay a payment on something else and required cash. So this is going to be $210. You're going to write a check off of your line of credit. The line of credit is going to have a checking account attached to it. You're going to write a check so your balance goes up that day on the line of credit. You owe more because you had to pay a bill. You deposit your paycheck again. It's $2,500. Now, remember I said you're going to put all your living expenses on a credit card for the first month. These expenses, the monthly ones, your $400 in food, your lunches, your cable TV, your water, your telephone. Some of these they may not accept credit cards. We're just going to pull it directly off the line of credit. But you're going to find that 90% of these items can be paid for with a credit card if you had one available that you can put it on where you're going to pay no interest, which I'll show you. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to create a float on a credit card that I'm going to designate one card for living expenses. I go to dinner and I got to pay 28 bucks. I got to go to the gas station, 62 bucks. Instead of pulling out your debit card where the money used to come out of your checking account, you're going to pull out that credit card. It's going to be a rewards credit card. You're going to get points, and there's going to be a little side bonus. And what we're going to do is start with the day you're at and identify the credit card that you want to use, preferably a rewards card. If you have bad credit, don't worry about it. I'm going to coach you through getting them. We're going to call the credit card company, and we're going to move the closing date to the day that you begin. I did not say due date. I said closing date. Credit cards billing cycles work on 30-day cycles. So what happens is if I have a closing date of March 5th, that's the day they close out the statement. So they're going to send me a bill on March 6th. So this is closing. Send bill. Receive bill. So you receive it on March 12th. I meant to do that. March 12th. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay. I don't know why it did it that and not the other ones. And then it's going to be due. It's due down here. Let's say due at the end of March. This is how a credit card cycle works. So what happens if you charge something on a credit card prior to March 5th? It's going to come out on a statement on March 6th because that's when they close your monthly cycle. And it's going to be due the end of March. But what happens is, let's say it's March 2nd now. We move our closing date to March 2nd. That means everything from today on won't show up on a statement tomorrow and be due at the end of March. It's not going to be due to the end of April. That's what this up to 50, 60-day grace period is. So we create a 1-month float. Now what happens is, so all the living expenses, a couple of grand, is going to go on your credit card in March, which is not going to be due till the end of April. So all the money that you would have used for those expenses goes to an extra payment of your mortgage. In April, you're going to get paid again. We're going to pay off the credit card, and then the April stuff that we're charging back on the card doesn't show up till May. It's a 1-month float. I'm going to show you how it's crazy what it'll do to your mortgage. And I know this can be confusing. That's why I coach people one-on-one for free, okay, over the phone. It's really easy to do. I set you all up. So your first month, you're not going to have any living expenses show up in your ledger. It's going to be sitting out in a float, and it's not going to be due till the second month. So what does that mean? That means, let me go over to living expenses. I'm going to be able to write an extra check of $1,718.75 towards my mortgage. And I'll do it near the end of the month. So I've got $20,000 first payment towards my mortgage. I have my regular mortgage payment. Then I have $1,718.75. Notice that the interest charges are about $100 on the line of credit, even though the interest rate's higher. It's about a wash when I did this towards your mortgage. But that's not all I'm looking for. That's a really easy thing to look at. Here's what you don't see. You're accelerating your mortgage more than you think. Remember, your amortization structure changes at different parts of your mortgage. Notice here that the amount of principal only increases by $1 a month. But when I get down here, it's increasing by $5 a month. So it's not necessarily the immediate impact that you're getting charged on interest on the line of credit versus the mortgage. It's how the amortization structure works in the future on your mortgage, and you are accelerating it to the future with this methodology. Because if I keep accelerating this, I don't care if I have a little bit more interest on the line of credit at the beginning, because in a few months, I'm going to be beating that 105. In fact, I usually like to have a little more interest on the line of credit than the mortgage at first, because I'm going to go past it within a few months. So that's why I'll typically max out the line of credit when it's $20,000 or less, regardless of the interest rate. I can go over here and I could change this interest rate to 10%. and it's going to change the interest charges. Okay, the action step's still going to be the same. I might only do $15,000 in that case, based on the amount of money moving in your life. Because look here, I went up $70, but my cost is $151. I'm going to be way past that as I accelerate down here months to come. So it makes total sense. People have a hard time with this calculation. Why? Because they see this 10%. They don't understand how the mortgage is compounding, and they don't understand that you're parking money against it, and your balance is going up and down. Let me give you an example. There's another piece that's going on in here that's really confusing for people. The action of making multiple payments towards a predetermined amortization structure causes the interest to go flat being charged and causes it to go sideways. I'll give you an example of something you know something about. A biweekly mortgage, you take a mortgage payment. Let's say it's what you do is you take this $1151, you divide it by 2, and you pay it every 2 weeks. If you do that, you'll take a 30-year mortgage down to 22 years every time. And it's only really one extra payment a year because there's 52 weeks in a year. That's 1/3 of the mortgage wiped off. Look at what, and that's the ratio of paying an extra 2 payments a month, $1151 versus $200,000. This is, you're depositing paychecks of $5,000 a month against 15 or 20 grand. It really causes this amortization structure to get screwed up in your favor. Now, here's something you guys don't get. This is as close to a silver bullet as you can get. You're going to get a statement on your line of credit every month that says there's no payment required because you're depositing your paychecks against the line. They count them as a payment. I'm going to show you how this is brilliant and how this can take someone who's about to go bankrupt and pull them out of bankruptcy. Possibly. Let's go back and look at what's going to happen. We make our regular mortgage payment. We make the extra 20 grand. We'll take this back to a reasonable number. We're going to make an extra payment of $17.18 a month towards the mortgage in the first month. Remember, we don't have any living expenses the first month going off the line, which would normally come out of your checking account. It's going to go on this card, and the bill's not going to be due for almost 2 months. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to write another check for $17.18. Extra payment towards our mortgage. It took off this back to $20,000. Remember, we were at like 60 some odd months. Now we've eliminated almost 70 months off the mortgage. All right, so here we go. First month, again, write a check for 20 grand towards our mortgage. Deposit our paycheck. Pull out money for a living expense. Pay a mortgage payment. Deposit another paycheck. This is an extra payment toward mortgage. So at the end of the month, what this person does is the same action step. They look at the balance of their line of credit versus the limit, and they subtract it. Figure out what the available credit is. And whatever the available credit is, it'll tell you that's another extra payment you pay towards your mortgage every month. So I'm going to write 1814, which takes off another 5 months off my mortgage. Now, some of you are asking, well, what about the line of credit? When do you pay that off? I'll show you. All right, so now that's your first month. Second month, this is not going to be the same. We're going to have to pay off credit card every month for living expenses. First month is different than every other month. So every month, you're going to put your living expenses on the credit card. You're going to pay it off of $17.18. Okay? So that eliminates the first month you get a free extra payment towards your mortgage. Every month it's just going to go pay off that credit card where you're paying all your bills from. All right? And then at the end of every month, this is going to be the same. So every month you're going to make your regular mortgage payment and then pay an extra payment of $1,814 towards your mortgage, maxing out the line of credit. Extra payment towards your mortgage every month. 2 payments, kind of like a bi-weekly mortgage, but you're paying more against it. Remember, the action of making multiple payments towards a predetermined amortization structure that's not expecting it causes it to go sideways. You don't want to do this with your mortgage payment. You pay it separately, and it screws up the bank. They have to re-amortize everything. It's absolutely brilliant. Now, let's go back and look. If I do that every month, month after month, what happens? Let's see how quickly this mortgage pays off. It pays itself off by October 1st, 2018, saving you $144,000 in interest or eliminating 250 payments. Let's look at the date again. How many years is that? We paid off a mortgage in 5.5 years. Now, some of you analytical types might be saying, well, what about the line of credit? Well, what about it? After you pay off the mortgage, you're going to have an extra $2,965 a month. Let's look. You're not going to have that extra payment. You're not going to have your mortgage payment, which means your line of credit balance drops by $3,000 a month. In 7 months, it'll be paid off. So now you paid off your mortgage in 6 years, 2 months. What about the line of credit? I just taught you guys in about 29 minutes what mortgage acceleration is. How you could save $144,000 on your mortgage. Or, remember, this was $200,000. We eliminated 75% of the interest. So if my interest rate, even though it's a lie, 7.662, we're only paying really a net effective rate of 1.41%. How did that change your life? I understand this is your first exposure. I got videos on this stuff. You guys need to learn this stuff. I know a lot of it was foreign, but let's go into something even more cool. We're going to go back here. Oh, I didn't want to go all the way back. We're going to flip through this stuff real quick, and we're going to go to someone who has way more than a mortgage. Someone who has consumer debt, credit card debt, up the yin-yang. I'm going to give you a little snapshot of our case study coming up here. Not that one. Not that one. Hang on. Where is it? Number 1. Here it is. We're going to go through someone who's got $25,000 in credit card debt, $22,000 in auto loans, $50,000 in consumer debt. Someone who only has $200 a month in positive cash flow, meaning they're going to go bankrupt because that's, you know, if you have kids, that's gone in 1 second. They're barely paying their bill. They're going into debt month after month. Okay? I'm going to go through the text version first. We call this the clearing. I call it the clearing. We need to clear out all your credit card balances down to 0, pay off all your cars so that you have the extra money to accelerate your mortgage, right? Because if you didn't have a car payment, you wouldn't have to pay that for $300 a month. If you didn't have $10,000 on your credit card, you wouldn't have to pay that $250 a month, and you would have all that extra money that you're burning on interest that you're giving away. We're going to go through a clearing and clear that out first to create a clear path to annihilate your mortgage. First step, open a line of credit. I'm going to go all the way down to 6 here real quick and show you, actually, they're interchangeable. We're going to move all your consumer debt to 0%, open a line of credit, or both. We may do this first, and I'll show you how to increase your credit score and do it so that we can get this. Or we may do this first or halfway through. It doesn't matter. It's all part of the clearing. Everybody will be a different order based on their unique situation. So we start with what? We start with opening a line of credit or moving stuff to 0% credit card. Doesn't matter. We make lump sum payments to pay off as much of your consumer debt as possible, maxing out the line of credit. Why is that important? Let me show you why. If you are sitting here, and let's say you have even more debt than this. Let's say you owe another $10,000 over here, and your payment's $300 a month. Okay? That means you're negative cash flow. Look, that means you can't pay your bills. Okay? You're going further and further into debt. So what happens when we open up this line of credit for $20,000 and we pay this off, and we pay off this stuff, and this stuff's gone, all of a sudden, and there's no payment on the line of credit, you're positive 187. You went from bankrupt to making it now because of the methodology. See, you're not going to have a payment on the line of credit. It will save your life financially if you're upside down. Now I'm going to go back and put this stuff back the way it was. So we need to go through a clearing and increase your cash flow, how much money you have. because you're burning it on interest and all these payments and it's killing you. So we pay off as much of that stuff with a line of credit, increasing your cash flow. We begin to use a line of credit to pay all your bills. We pay all expenses using one designated card, and we make lump sum payments towards the additional consumer debt equal to the amount put on the credit card. So let's say we get a line of credit for 20 grand, but you owe 80 on credit cards. Well, you're only going to be able to pay down 20, and then we're going to create a float on that 2 grand a month of your living expenses. We're going to pay down 22 that month. The rest of it, we're going to move to 0% credit cards, which I'm going to show you. I track that stuff. I'm tracking multiple 0% credit cards. I know who's approved for what, where, when, why. I know who's approving everybody, who's not. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. After we start doing that, you're going to have some positive cash flow. Then we begin to make lump sum payments towards your 0% credit cards after we move it all until they're paid off before we go after your mortgage. So it's a 12, 18-month cycle. We want to pay off all your consumer debt 12, 18, 24 months. Otherwise, you're back in the same cycle, and then we go after your mortgage. I know it's fast. I know it's confusing. Whatever line of credit is available on the line of credit is your monthly lump sum payment, blah, 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 blah. Okay? I went through that quick because what I really want to do is show it to you here. So let's look at this person right now. This person was negative cash. Let me fix it. This person is a pretty typical person, okay? Especially someone in California. They have a bigger mortgage. Their mortgage is $325,000 balance. They owe 25 grand on credit cards. They have 2 car loans with 22 grand. They make a little bit more money, but they have way more debt, $6,200. The living expenses are much higher, $3,000 a month, right? Food, property taxes, insurance are higher. They've got kids in the house. They're spending $800 a month on food plus 150 lunches. Wife wants to do their hair, man. You got to live a little, right? Life insurance, medical insurance, Christmas gift fund, entertainment. You know, I went to a Nuggets basketball game. Last minute shot, Ty Lawson hit it. Yay! All right, Oklahoma City lost. Auto insurance. We like to have fun, right? Me and my wife had fun. We're not going to, like, you know, stop living here. We just want to be debt-free. We've got our gasoline we pay. All these different expenses, 2 grand a month, okay? So this person's not cutting back on their living expenses. It's the same living expenses. But they got all this debt, all these payments, $647 there, $554 there, almost 2 grand a month on a mortgage. How do we deal with this? I'm going to show you. First thing is first, this person's got high utilization on the credit cards. What that means is they may have had a 750 credit score at one time. Maybe they're down to 680 or 705. And based on if this is you or similar to you or one part of you, you're like, well, wait a minute. The credit markets aren't the same. How am I going to get a line of credit? How am I going to get 0% credit cards? Well, if you couldn't get them and I was not telling you the truth, I would be sitting here wasting my time just liking to hear myself talk. Let me tell you something. That's not the case. If this stuff didn't work, I wouldn't be here doing it for free. It works. Pay attention. Here it comes. The first thing you have to know is that 30% of your credit score has to do with your credit card balances. Notice that I have a calculation in the software that says this person is using 89% of the limit of their cards. Meaning, look, $7,900 balance, they owe $8,500, 92% of the cards charged up. They've used 80% of the card here. This is 30% of your credit score, the percentage of utilization of your credit cards. So as you charge up your cards and don't pay them off, your credit score goes down. As you pay down your cards, your credit score goes up. So there's a special strategy here I'm going to show you that's really cool. And I have tons of people I'm taking through this. In fact, I wonder if one of them's on right now. I'm going to answer questions, by the way, as I get through it. Steve, you've done pretty well, but I won't use you. All right. I don't want to catch you off guard. So you're asking, well, do I open a line of credit first to pay off that stuff, or how do I get 0% cards? In this particular case, this person's credit score is compromised. They're probably, if they paid their bills on time, they're in the high 6s, maybe low 7s. So what we do is we got to know where to move this money and how it impacts your credit score. So I've got a baseball grand slam strategy, okay? And this is how it works. If we can move money, eliminate interest, increase your credit score, and increase your cash flow all in the same move, it's a grand slam. So how do we do that? Let's start with Citi Financial. Guys, there's a Citi Financial card, and they got like 20 of them, that they're practically approving everybody. If you paid your bills on time, even if all your cards are maxed out, they're approving you. So how do we use that to hit a grand slam and stair-step our way out of this debt, increase our credit score even more on every move to give us more and more 0% credit card offers to implement the strategy? This is how you do it. Let's say you approve for $5,000. By the way, I'll show you where to get that card in a minute. What you have to understand is anytime you charge over 50% of the limit on a credit card, it hammers your credit. 50% is the threshold that gives you the biggest increase or the biggest decrease in your credit score. What that means is I can never charge over $2,500 on this card unless I want my credit score to go down. At the same time, anytime you pay down a card below 50%, your credit score is going to go up. So what do? Your first intention or thought would be, well, wait a minute, I'm getting 0% on this card rather than paying 22, 14, 16, and 18. I'm getting 0%, right? So your initial, and I should put it up, it's down here. Your initial thought would be, well, I'm just going to go ahead and transfer $5,000 for somewhere else from Capital One. Wrong. You're not going to do that. What you're going to do is never go over $2,490 on this card. And then you're going to attack individual cards first to get them down to 50% below the limit, and then you're going to come and get the rest to 0%, and I'll show you what I mean. So if I'm going to attack this Wells Fargo card where I have a $1,000 limit, $800 balance, I want this to be below 50% utilization. I want this balance to be $490, right? So if I want that balance to be $490, I can balance transfer $310. So I get this down to $490 and I move it to the Citi card, $310. Okay? Let me show you what happens. What happens here is this. This card is now under 49%. This new card's under 50%, so you're okay. Your credit score just went up on one card. Your credit on this little move right here, I guarantee your score will go up 5, 6, 7, 8 points. And I keep doing it, right? Then I'll go back. I'll say, wait a minute, I want to do this to this one. This limit's $1,400. If I want to be less than 50% of the limit, I got to get the balance down to about $700. So let's say $690. So I want to take it down to $690. It happens to be $310 again. So I go, my balance now is $620 here. What's happened here is this. This card's under 50% of the limit now, and this one is. My credit score goes up again. Also, by the way, my cash flow is going up, and my interest is going down. You see, these payments drop, and they don't go up as much here as they drop there. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. I'm going to go to the next one, whatever it is, and move it down. So as my credit score is going up, bam, also all of a sudden, I can get the Discover card. I have a whole video on this in the Citi card and Discover card. I can get another Discover. By the way, this is 18 months. Discover is now 16 months. Oh, I'm going to get $6,200 there. I can never charge over $3,100. The bottom line is this. I'm going to accelerate this a little bit forward. I'm going to move the whole. I'm going back. I'm going to move this whole 25 grand to 0%. Okay? Yes, what I'm teaching you right now will show you how to get a bunch of easy credit. Okay? So this whole 25-100, it's going to go on multiple cards that are going to have a $52,000 limit. This stuff gets paid off. All these cards are 0%. Your credit score goes through the roof as you're opening accounts. It's an amazing strategy. The new payments, these were $554 a month. These are all gone. The new payment is $251. The new payment is going to be 1% of your balance. So what did I do? I've got rid of all this interest, this $277 in interest. Now some of you are saying, well, what about the balance transfer fees? Let's take a look. If I take $25,100 and I move it all, and it cost me 3%. It's $753. Well, I was paying $277 in interest. I'm going to recoup that in just under 3 months. But I'm going to get 12 months, 18 months, 0% interest. The math always works. Always works on a balance transfer. All right? So now I've got 25.1. Let's just say I got another $800 in balance transfer fee. So I'm actually go up in debt initially, right? All right, so my payment's $259. But what happened to my cash flow? This is all gone. My cash flow went up from $200 to almost $500 a month because it's realigning stuff. I'm not done yet. Let's go back. We're in the middle of the clearing here. So sometime, maybe halfway through this, after we move 12 grand, we're probably going to open up the line of credit for $20,000. And bam, I'm going to pay off this car. Guess what? There's no payment on the line of credit, so you don't have a car payment. Oh my goodness. Bam, your cash flow just went through the roof. You went from not being able to pay your bills to being able to pay your bills. I haven't paid off any debt yet. I'm moving it around first. I'm going through the clearing. Let's go back. So I paid off, I only have a $15,000 balance here. I paid off, I got another 5 grand in the line of credit. I'm going to pay this down to $2,600. So I owe 20 grand here. Now, I still have the payment on the car because I have to pay it off. The payment doesn't go down when I pay it down. I have to pay off completely to get rid of the payment. Let's go down to how this works, right? This is so fun to do. Okay, so let's talk about your expenses first. Your living expenses. $535 a month of these living expenses cannot be put on a credit card. Medical insurance, your life insurance, let's say, whatever it is. This is yes. This is yes. Make some corrections here. So 185, I'm going to make it bigger. Let's say you can't put your auto insurance on there. Okay. So 410 can't be put on a credit card. 2500 can. All right. So I got to pull 410 out in cash after I deposit my paycheck in. That's an expense. You're putting it in your pocket. Okay. You're going to pay your mortgage payment. You got your paycheck in there. You're going to pay your mortgage payment. Let's say we only did 15 grand on the line so far, right? Okay. So I'll deposit all my stuff in here. Bingo. All my living expenses are going on the credit card. Now I also keep in mind that there's going to be no credit card payment for another month or so here. But I do have this $198.01 car payment. Wait a minute. I got all this available credit still on the line. Actually, I'm at 20 grand. I forgot. I made the extra payment towards the car. Excuse me. All right. But look, I maxed out the line of credit. I was negative cash flow. I've got my deposit of my paychecks. I pull out that money. I pay my mortgage payment. I pay this auto loan payment. I have my paycheck. Remember, I'm putting all my living expenses in a float. Look, all of a sudden I have a bunch of extra money here out of thin air. What do? I go back and say, wait a minute. I can actually pay off that car of $2,600. I'm going to write another check for $2,600. Math's all right here. Bringing my balance up to 18. Okay, I get it now. Oh, I'm not going to have the auto loan payment if I pay off that car. I go back up here, and this is now gone, this auto loan payment. Look at my cash flow. I went up to $1,100 a month. I was going bankrupt. I'm just letting you absorb. Okay, so now I get down to the end of the month. Wait a minute, I didn't have any extra money left over, but all of a sudden I still do. I've just completed the clearing. I've moved all my debt to 0% over the line of credit, or I've completed 90% of it. Now I got to pay off this. Now you can start paying off debt. Why? Because you're not paying interest. Hey guys, if you don't pay interest, you have what? More money. If you have more money, you can make extra payments towards your debt. If you make extra payments towards your debt, you're going to have paid less interest, which means you're going to have more money. If you have even more money, you're going to pay more money towards your debt, which means you're going to pay even less interest, which means you're going to have even more money and you're going to pay off more debt. It's a snowball. All it is a snowball we're creating with rocket fuel and jets next to it rather than just slowly like the Ramsey system says. Start with the smallest one and go. That's great. Great methodology. All I'm doing is I'm putting a turbo boost on it. Now, let's see how we actually start paying off debt after we go through the clearing and move it around. We have this payment here, $259 a month, all at 0% interest, so all that's going to pay down that balance every month. Okay? Now, I go back down here and say, wait a minute. At the end of every month, I know I have a $20,000 limit. I also have to subtract my amount of my line of credit, see what's available on it. I'm going to sum it here. I've got an extra $1,200.09 a month when I didn't have any money. Wait a minute. I can write that extra check towards those credit 0% cards before they come due. Can I not? So I've got $1,209 a month. I can write an extra check. Plus, I've got $250 a month. Oh, wait a minute. I've messed up. Let me go back. The second, this is moved to the second month. We made this payment to the car. The second month, we start off with a $20,000 balance. And every month, I'm going to have to write a check to pay off the living expenses of $2,513, okay? So let me go ahead and put that in. So living expenses, $2,513, okay? And I don't have to pay off the car the second month. But I started with a $20,000 balance. I knew this was wrong. I've done this enough times. The math was wrong, but I fixed it. All right. So, and I have the payment for the credit cards, $259 I got to put in, right? So credit card payments. Get too excited, huh? $259. All right, so now here's my number. So I have an extra $1,043 a month after I pay all my payments when I didn't have any before. But go up here, and this $1,043, we can make an extra payment towards this balance every month, plus the $259, which is already accounted for our budget. What does that mean? That means our balance drops by $1,302 a month on this right here. Now we're paying off credit cards. So you divide $25,900 by $13,200. That's how many months it's going to take to pay off. $19.89 months. Isn't that special? In 19 months, you have zero credit card debt. And I don't care if it's a 12-month 0% card, right? After 12 months, well, heck, what's 19 divided by 2? 9.5 months, half of this will be paid off. Your credit score is going to go through a roof. We'll move it again. Who cares? So let's say it's 21 months. 21 months, you have zero credit card debt. You owe $20,000 on your line of credit. You no longer have this payment. Your cash flow goes up again, which means at the end of every month, you're going to have an extra $1,300.03 a month. $1,303. You've just completed the clearing. Now you can go after your mortgage. Let's take a look at it. I've got a $325,000 mortgage, 5.625%, 30-year fixed. Let's say I closed on it in 2009. Changes the amortization. Here's your payment. We closed on it here. We're in March of 2013, and it took me 21 months. So I'm 21 months ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21. So on December 1st, 2014, all your credit cards and all that stuff's paid off. You can start making an extra payment towards your mortgage of $1,303 a month. How long will it take to pay off your mortgage? Let's see. I'm having too much fun today. Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. We took someone who's buried, bankrupt, and we made them debt debt-free in 12 years, including a $300,000 mortgage. They owe nobody nothing. Guys, I'm very passionate about this. I get insane when I think about this. You guys are all living, breathing human beings. You're on this planet. We're caught up in our chaos. I'm asking you right now, what is your experience of life like? Let's get to the heart of why we're on this planet. What is it like waking up every day? What do you deal with? Don't have time? Husband and wife passing each other by after years of marriage, not doing the things that matter, not having the time for your kids, not being able to follow your heart, not being able to go out and contribute to someone when they need help because you're so caught up in your own life that you just can't see anything? What's it like carrying that debt? Owing all that money? What's life like? I'm inviting you to put it in the chat box now. What's it like? It certainly affects your life. If you're married, I mean, you're going to sleep at night, and that debt's right there. You're waking up in the morning, it's right there. Right there. Wake up sweating, someone said. Who else? It's hard. Leads to a lot of window shopping, but no purchases. A lot of dreams that never get fulfilled. I'm going to invite each and every one of you for just a moment. Can't sleep, Brian says. I want you to do this. Close your eyes. Just close your eyes for a second. And I want you to imagine for one moment that it's gone. You owe nobody nothing. All your credit cards are paid off. You own your cars. You're no longer renting your house from the bank. You own your home free and clear forever. What's your experience of life like now? You wake up in the morning with a clear heart and clear mind, and you start doing the things that matter. Planning for your daughter's wedding the way it should be done. Going to your son's basketball games. Heck, a bunch of you guys are in California. When's the last time you've been to the beach? How about being able to go out there on a Tuesday afternoon where everybody's working and just sit there in quiet and peace with your spouse, or taking a walk? Or just knowing that everything's gonna be okay. That you're gonna be safe. I've seen people change. I don't know how many active students I have. If I look at my student list, and I'm not going to pull it up so everybody's names, I got about 300 students. I do this for free. I coach people for free. Sessions are 5 to 15 minutes. I have all the videos online, which I'm going to show you in a minute how to find, where you prepare through a step system where you're prepared for the coaching, so I'm not on a coaching call for an hour. It's all done automated. And I walk you through this. What would it be like? What would your neighborhood be like if everybody was debt-free on your street? You'd know your neighbors' names. What would it be like if your whole town was debt-free? What would happen if in 19 months or 21 months from now, everybody in America had no credit card debt? What would happen in 8 months from now if everybody in America paid down their credit card debt by 50%? We would have an economic boom. We wouldn't have the worry and concern that everybody has. We wouldn't walk around with crunchy face and cut each other off and not open doors for each other and just pay attention to things that don't matter. It's all a bunch of caca-poo-poo, no substance. We would start treating each other like we should. Another human being who's just trying to figure out how to be. Dealing with stuff. Life's stressful. And it doesn't have to be that way. Now you know why I want to give this away. I want to be part of that, if I can. All right. All right, I'm going to go back here. Look, I have a thing here that says if you're over a 680 credit score, it's on, it's easy. If you're under, I got to do a credit restoration and credit enhancement. I got a whole system to repair your credit. Okay? I don't charge anything for it. I do this webinar every Saturday just about. I'm doing classes during the week online with students. I'm doing over-the-phone coaching, workshops. I got software for free. I got a special group on Facebook. Yeah, you're right, Grady. It's about karma. You friend me on Facebook. I'll put you in a special group. Best news of all, you don't pay anything. You know where you go? I'm going to answer questions here in a minute. You're going to go to debteliminatorplus.com. I'm going to show you, what that's about. All right, so this is the site, debteliminatorplus.com. And you go in here, and once you fill out your name and your email, it's going to take you in here, okay? And bingo! Look at that. There's all the videos of everything you just saw. Just press play. Isn't that special? Okay? And then, if you look at the top, there's advanced training. This prepares you for me to coach you. And there's only 8 steps. Hang on. All right. Please watch videos before moving on to the advanced training. So you watch this video, then you go to step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7. Step 8 says you're ready for me to coach you. I have people get through this in a couple hours. Okay? It's all right there online. It tells you how to get coached by me, the whole 9 yards. You can go here to watch these webinars again. Find out when the next one is. Okay? Now, we go back home here real quick. I ask one thing of all of you. Don't keep this to yourself. Post it on your Facebook page, debteliminatorplus.com. We need to share this with the world. I spent thousands of hours creating websites, automation, so I can coach people in the masses. I could sit here right now and do a whole 1 hour on which 0% credit cards to get. And by the way, it's right in there. If you don't want me to coach you, once you go in, it's an advanced training. I have the credit cards that will approve everybody and under what terms. It's so easy. I got people being approved every day that get declined. The Citi card. The Citi card link is right here. And it's actually, I have a whole video on exactly how you apply for the Citi card and how you want to structure it. It's right here. Discover it, 0% Citi cards. Right there in the website if you want to know where to get it. I even have who's approving the lines of credit. That's step 7. Who's approving? The approval ratio is off the chart with this bank here. Off the chart. It's all right there for you on video. So what do I ask? You share it with people. Let me tell you what you don't do. Oh, I got this guy Dave. He's giving all this stuff away for free. Go to debteliminatorplus.com. Or go to his webinar. I'm sorry. You got to go to his webinar on Saturday. They won't come. How many times have you gotten an email from me and you're finally here? They won't come because of what's so. Everybody's selling something, guys. And that's just the way our world works. I'm not. I'm a freak of nature. They're going to put me in that category. Oh, they're just going to sell me something. They'll never show up to the webinar. What you do is you send them to debteliminatorplus.com and you have them and say, hey, just go watch the video. It's 3 minutes. It could change your life. Very inviting. It's non-threatening. And it works. Like 90% of the hits, people come in, they go into the site. You know, that way they don't have to be on a Saturday, they're busy, whatever. And then they go in and they start watching the videos of what you just saw. And they start doing it. I've watched it happen. So I've built the funnel to be able to attract people for them to feel safe. And we need to take this to the world. And some of you heard about me going back on national radio to do my eBay stuff and this. And I am. We're going to combine it. We're going to give this away to America. The debt stuff. Why? Because it's our country, doggone it. Why not when we can do it? All right, so I'm going to go to questions. Let me go back to here so you have how to find me. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. Bingo. Oh, that's not what I want. I want this one. All right, so it has a web address here. How you friend me on Facebook to get in our special Debt Eliminator group. All that stuff, and we are going to go all the way to the top of your questions and start answering. All right, so I got the no way, no. Got to delete them. Okay, compounding volume interest. We got that from previous. This is killer SHIT, hard. Waking up sweating, leads to a lot of window shopping, can't sleep. All the banks will not be closed. They'll just have to adjust the business model. Will it be possible for you to talk to All right, so let's talk about that for a second. Was it possible for you to talk to Congress and the President? Guys, here's the thing. We got to create a movement. I got to put 100,000 people on the webinar. And if you guys don't send this out to everyone in an email and put it on your Facebook and get involved, it's not going to happen. I'm going to have to do that. I've got some radio show contracts in different parts of the country, one in San Diego, possibly, one in Las Vegas. Well, I'll start again. It's not going to be for a few months because I'm still perfecting the eBay and coaching people on that. But, you know, the government already came after me once, guys. I had a company that sold it and they shut me down. Google my name. I got screwed. So they thought it was about money, and it wasn't. It wasn't about money. This was 3 years ago. So I started giving it away for free. They thought I was kidding. Now they can't stop me. But they don't want to listen because they want you to stay in debt. That's why they came after me. But we can create a movement where people are just getting out of debt anyways, and it doesn't matter what the President or Congress says. It is about karma, Grady. I love it. Where's your end? You weren't here for the whole seminar, webinar. My end is, I am having a ball. It's good karma. My end is, I'm fulfilling my life purpose, and I'm the happiest person I've ever been in my life right now. That's my end. I said, oh, I can't believe you helping all these people. Wait a minute. You allowed me to help you. If you didn't allow me to help you, I would never achieve my happiness. I have income from other places, so it's not about money for me, John. Good question, though. Which John is that, by the way? Are you progressing through the program, then you experience a financial setback, say 5, 10 grand? How do you account for this? We deal with life. Trust me, you're going to have the power to deal with those problems in the system. Good question, though. Yeah, I had a student. Hey, Dave, my car just broke down, man. We've been paying down my mortgage. I got to go buy a car for 20 grand. Fine. If we're going to do it, let's make sure we do it with the right amount of cash flow and interest rates at 0% or whatever, right? Great question, Scott. Cool. All right, come on, let's go. Questions, questions, questions. I have 47 minutes till my next coaching webinar. Yeah, I got 3 of them today? Yeah, 3 webinars in a row. Not in a row. I had a break between this and the last one. But I get all fired up on this stuff. I tell you what. There we go. There's a question. All right, here we go. You're right. I was a little bit late. If it's possible with a business account I'm not reading stuff right. Hang on. Oh, yeah, business, that's the same. It's even easier. Sometimes. Shouldn't say that all the time. Most of the time it's easier. Yeah, I got a little tab on the software for that. If you look, where is the, there it is. If you look at the software, I'll bring it over to the other screen. At the bottom, we have business. Here's all your business, cost of sales, gross revenue. We do all your business debt. I got all that in there, man. I've been doing this for a decade. You get the Debt Eliminator software, Cindy, on the website. I'll show you. Good question. I missed it. I would have forgot. Not there. All right. So it's right in the advanced training. I think it's step 2. So step 2, no, step 3. Step 4 has a video, and then here's the download. No, that's not it. I'll get it right. It's step 2. So Debt Eliminator plus software, advanced user, and then I have a getting started document for those who don't know how to use my software or have trouble. Okay, there you go. What if you had multiple rentals? Oh, man. I built this whole program for investment people 12 years ago or whatever it was. It's even fast. You can pay off all your rentals. I have one. What if Dale's on? Dale, I won't call you out unless you want me to unmute you. You can hear me, Dale. We went through a scenario. I don't remember what it was, Dale, I think he had like 10 or 12 investment properties. It was somewhere between 10 and 15 years, everything was still paid off. We went all through the numbers as exactly it would happen. I know you're doing something else on your computer, Dale. I can tell, by the way, when you're paying attention or not, guys. It shows me that you're doing something else. If you do hear me, Dale, and you don't mind being unmuted, let me know, and you can speak to that guy, what we did. All right. As each credit card goes below 50%, Mark, how long is it to turn around your credit score to be adjusted? Well, we can force that to happen because the closing date's when they report to the bureau. So you can call up, you can pay down your card below 50%, and then we could call them, move the closing date to the day we're at, and it'll show up on your report tomorrow, or it's just a 30-day cycle. Can this be workable for commission-only income that does not happen on a regular schedule? Yeah, I got people who are self-employed, commission-only. Yeah, we just do things a little bit differently, but the methodology is the broad strokes the same. The action steps are a little bit different because we have to move through some cycles and consider a lower average of income, and then when we get more, it's great. Okay, I have a mortgage and $150,000 in student loans. Does that work the same way as a mortgage? Yeah. All you have really is a mortgage and a second mortgage for 150 grand, right? That's what the student loan is. That's no different. We attack it the same methodology. You just pay it off sooner. You're welcome, Cindy. My wife and I both got Citi cards 0% for 18 months, but only $6,800. So this is someone that went to my site and got them. Well, yeah. What we're going to do? Let me answer the question though. I both get Citi cards of 8, but only $6,800 line of credit. Should I use the credit cards to pay down the mortgage? No, George. Well, I don't know. I'd have to look at your situation individually. We may just need to do one quick coaching session. I would suggest that you go to step 8 and follow the instructions to be coached by me. Okay, it tells you exactly what to do with my email address. That's what I would suggest because I got to see the whole thing. And that's, that's why I need to do some more group coaching workshops where it's not about just introducing you to the system, where you guys are unmuted and we can go through scenarios. I want to start doing that, Grady, just like I do on the eBay stuff again for this. How detailed do we have to get in the software to get our baseline debt? Not very. I don't really care. I'll even coach you if you're halfway done, as long as you take a shot at it. Once you get into it, it'll start clearing up for you. It's just one of those things. Dave, I have a 660 credit score. My wife is 690. Can I start one-on-one coaching, or do I have to get to a 680? I have moved some of my debt to 0%. I'm currently refinancing my house to 3 1/4, and I have a loan offer for Discover for $25,000. No, I can start coaching you now. Man, you're ready to rock. We can do some amazing things with things you've already done. I'm assuming you went through the videos. It sounds like it. You're good. All right. Let's see. We're going to lot. With regard to the closing date, I vaguely remember that there is a period of time that we do not want to use our card between payment due date and closing date. Wrong. It's the same action steps every month once we get into a cycle. You can watch the video on that again if you want. It's on Debt Eliminator Plus. All right, Dave, does it matter which card you pay down to get below 50%? No, it doesn't. Oh, no, wrong. Yes, it does. Because, all right, so in the FICO scoring model, your credit scoring model, there's a direct cause and effect to paying down a single card below 50%. And there's also an overall utilization. So the answer is no. I'm sorry, let me change it. Doesn't matter. What do you suggest is the best avenue to acquire our current credit cards? To acquire our current credit card. I'm not sure what the question is. The best avenue would be follow the videos. Is that what you're asking? To get your scores, I have videos on how to get those for free. I have it all in the system. Maybe I didn't cover that. Yeah, step 3 is your credit reports and scores where they're free, except for your Experian costs you $1. And I have it all right there with links for you so you don't get screwed over. Trust me, there's a bunch of ones that will screw you over. I've been through all that. All right, cool. I'm going to give another minute for questions. If not, I need to take a break for 40 minutes before my next webinar. Hey guys, thanks for coming on. I hope this helped you, really. I certainly don't do this for free and then have it not work or have any value for anybody. I could be eating or going to another basketball game. You're welcome, Robin. Okay, so let's see what we got. Our credit cards are used in both personal and in our business. Do I split the... Nah, I ain't worried about it. I'll if you let me coach you one-on-one, Jeff, it doesn't matter. People get really convoluted on because it's business. We want to pay it all off, and we can put it in the system all together. We can isolate it, too, and pay certain stuff off first if you want. You're welcome, Steve. Anybody else? Oh, they're rolling in now. I just got a bunch of them. Dave, you're a good man. Thank you. Okay. I appreciate that, Don. It helps to get feedback. It makes it worthwhile. All right. What if you're not working and struggling to pay the bills? Well, you're not going to pay off any debt, right? But what we can is prevent you from going further. Let's say someone loses their job. And they don't do any of this system, and 3 months later they wake up and they owe 10 more grand on their credit cards. And they're paying more interest and have more payments. What if we can curb the damage, right? Damage control. I can help you, maybe you would only be 1,000 more in debt, or I can find you money at 0% or something without a job. You never know. We always do something positive in coaching. So yes, I'm here for you if you want me to help you. Is there information on how to acquire business-only credit cards? That's funny that you asked that. It is one of the most powerful strategies I used to have heavy in my system because a lot of business credit cards don't show up on your personal credit report. So if you have 20 grand in personal credit card debt and you move it to business credit cards and it doesn't show on your report, your score goes crazy and goes way up. So I'm back into that right now. I'm not teaching it because that market's so tight, but it's loosening up and it's coming. Great question. Lily and I are deep in debt. Yeah, well, we got a twofold thing going on, Jeff, right? I'm going to help you make all that money with eBay, and then we're going to help you get out of debt. By the way, one has nothing to do with the other. If some of you are in my eBay program and I'm coaching you through it, you don't have to do eBay for me to coach you out of debt. I don't charge anything. It doesn't matter if you do my eBay program or not. That's not what the eBay program was all about. It does cost money, but it's really cheap. I'll be doing another webinar on that on Tuesday, and if you want to see the webinar on the eBay stuff and looking to make more money, go ahead and email me at dave@daveburke.me, and I'll send you the video of the webinar. Not that this wasn't supposed to be about that, but Jeff, I happen to know, and I want him to know that we can do both together and kill this thing and get you guys, to a safe place. Thanks. George says I'm going to step 8, and I hope to hear from you. You got it, George. Dave, what do I need to do to get started? Can I email you my info? No. Go to step 8 and follow the instructions, and it'll tell you what to do. That way I get what I need to get you started. Step 8 in the advanced training. Cool. Oh, Dale, how you doing, buddy? I've listened several times as this is really now getting through to me. I'm going to yell at my brother Dennis for not telling me about this a long time ago. Yeah, Dale. I mean, Dale, you've been on a good path, though. Even though you haven't got it, you followed the steps, and Dale's the one with all the investment properties. Someone else, Dale, wanted to know how it worked with that. You have a better picture on that. If you don't mind talking in public, I can unmute you, and you can tell your experience or not. Okay. Thanks, Dave. I'm going to yell at my brother Dennis for not telling me about this a long time ago. You got my number to set up. Oh, Scott. Cool. Yeah. Well, you know Dennis. He's talking about my brother Dennis, not his. Okay. He's a little chaos, but he's a great guy. And I got your stuff, and I think I did respond to my times available. And I'll get to that. I don't respond always the same day on my emails. All right. Oh, boy. Getting out is great, and I want it. What happens after that? You have money. Do you coach on how to move to becoming rich? You know, I know what to do as far as investments, but that's just not my gig. You know, I'll turn you over to someone else I trust, but, you know, I'm not going to, you know, when you have a bunch of money, you don't go after risk. Just do annuities and just sit there and be happy, and don't worry about getting $10 million. Just know that you're going to have $7,000 a month in income for the rest of your life, right? Keep it simple. But, you know, I'm very conservative when it comes to after you're debt-free what you do, because you got there. Just be happy that you're there and get to keep all your money now. So, no, I guess I don't coach individually on how to get rich after that. All right. I can only coach so much stuff. Man, I only got so many hours in a day. I am another Dale. Oh, you're not the same Dale. Not the one with the several properties working on that, however. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? The other Dale has a last name with an L and a U, but not T, not like yours. That's why. Okay. Dave, can you take a PayPal payment to start the eBay training? Well, that's what I do. That's how it is through PayPal. Oh, I'm going to end this webinar. I don't want to mix the two. I'm just not. I'm going to stop talking about it, but I'm going to give you my email address, Andre. And there's a reason why I'm not going to mix the two. Okay, you would think that I would sit here and push that all day long because I make money on that. I don't want to. I want to be clear that one has nothing to do with the other. I don't do the debt stuff for money just so I can promote my other stuff, okay? I do it because it's my passion and that's what I'm meant to do. Go ahead and email me, Andre, and I'll give you the information on how to do that. Andre or Andrea or whatever it is. People get convoluted on what other people's intentions are, and I want to make sure that, you know, even if I wasn't making money anywhere, I would still be doing this, and I would still be trying to help you. Thank you again. I learned something every Saturday. You're welcome, Beth. All right, I got to go. I got to rest a little bit for my next coaching webinar. Thanks for coming on. Share it with everybody. Appreciate it, guys. We'll see you on the next webinar.